So this is your first hunt. And you've come to the most dangerous planet in the universe. You're after a creature that can't be killed. The definitive apex predator. I could help you. Well, good luck with your journey. Here, you're not the predator. You're the prey. We might not be alone in this hunt.
Hello everybody and welcome to the entertainment headquarters and welcome to a very special live review. And this is for a film that is definitely one of the most anticipated films of the year. It's also a film that is part of a well-liked and very popular sci-fi franchise, and it's something that I'm a huge fan of as well. There's been a mixed bag of emotions and a mixed bag of, films, quite frankly, in this franchise. But there's a lot of high hopes for this franchise because of a particular director, which is Dan Trachtenberg, who basically has taken this franchise under his wing and he's decided to basically redevelop it and really give it some fresh life.
Give it some balls.
Correct. So to talk about the next entry, which is none other than Predator Badlands. That's right, we're talking the Predator franchise. And this is the film we're about to talk about, which was released just over 2 weeks ago now. Predator Badlands. And to talk about the latest entry in the Predator franchise, I have two amazing guests. Of course, from Jedi Granville Productions, we have Mr. Jedi Granville himself.
Sir.
And down below, we have the Kaiju Enigma, Jake Hall.
Hello there.
Yes. So let's just talk about it. So, Mr. Jedi Granville, will start with you. Obviously, the Predator franchise has been around for a long time now, since the 1980s. And it's had a mixed reaction, a mixed bag of success. So, overall, going into this particular film, what was your overall thought, especially with how the landscape of the series has gone?
Well, hell, I mean, you just said the original came out back in the 80s, and I remember when I went to go see it back in the 80s with my mom, and that was a real delight, seeing something different where you see the combination of two kind of genres mixed together and whatnot, and it's set in a time when it came out. This one is kind of went in with blind for what it is, and I also had somewhat low expectations for it because I feel like whatever it's bringing to the table, it's like, well, maybe A, it's been done before, but B, don't expect too much of a grandiose kind of return of what you're going to expect. And for myself, I got to say, my low expectations did raise a little bit, a lot in a way, because it went where I didn't think it was going, because it was kind of hinting at past Predator films a little bit, but at the same time using its own meticulous kind of way of telling the story in a kind of different kind of light, and I feel like that's the kind of thing you want. You don't want to regurgitate the whole same, tropey whatever. You know, there's some tropes in this film over and over again. It's like, do something a little different and see where it goes. And to me, I think they did a pretty good job with it, in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Jacob, same question to you after, obviously the years of good and bad results with the Predator franchise. People are starting to lose hope and faith in it. And then Dan Trachtenberg come along. And we've got, of course, Prey, which was the previous film. We've had Predator Killer of Killers, which was great. And now this one. So
this one was very I like to use this word a lot, intriguing, because first of all, what shook me was the fact that this film was rated PG-13, the first Predator film to be rated PG-13, and that kind of caught me off guard just a little bit. But then when I went to go see it, I was like, oh, okay, now I understand the PG-13 in a way. But overall, throughout the film and what I had seen, I was pleasantly surprised with it. I thought the director did a good take on this film, and I liked the direction that it went for this film, because you, in a way, got a little bit of a learning experience dealing with the predators and how some of them hunt and all that. But I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised with this film for a PG-13.
Yeah. So as for me, going into Prey, everyone praised it, saying it was the best Predator film since the original. Now, don't get me wrong, Prey is decent, but it ain't no Predator from 1987. And Killer of Killers just blew me away. It felt like a Predator movie. I loved how they took the genre to different years in human history and did a lot of great stuff with it. And going into this, I know and kind of knew going into this that this film would be something unique, but whether that was a positive or negative, I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Because for the first time in the Predator franchise, we'll really get a taste of the hierarchy and the culture of the Predator. I know you kind of got tastes of it in Alien versus Predator, where you're seeing different, ships and different, armor, and you're seeing rituals with the Predators, and even in the Predators itself, where you had different hierarchies and different types of Predators. So you had the Berserker Predator and all of this stuff. This is the first time we really go deep within the culture of the Predator race. So let's talk about it. So Predator Badlands is a 2025 American science fiction action film and the 9th installment in the Predator franchise. The film was directed by Dan Trachtenberg and written by Patrick Asen, from a story by Trachtenberg and Asen, Ellie Falanin and Demetrius Kola Mataganji, sorry if I butcher your name, star in the leading roles in the film. In the film, Dek, a young Yucha, exiled from his clan, crash lands on a hostile planet and must prove himself worthy of the hunt. Struggling to survive, he forms an unlikely alliance with Thea, a damaged Wayland Yutani Corporation synthetic, as they face off against a terrifying apex predator that challenges both human and predator instincts for survival. So pretty much, the film starts off with a huge bang. There's like a black screen, and there's like a tail that drops down with different quotes on the predator race itself, which is, of course, like I say, they're called the Yucha. So the Yucha is actually the predator's actual race's name. So we know them as the predator, but the race itself is known as the Yucha. And that, for me, straight off the bat, to give it more context in terms of who this race is. And for me, I don't know if you felt the same, but I felt like I seen a similar like development with this race in the same way if you look at Star Trek and the Klingons.
Yes, I can definitely. I can see that. I mean, and this is the funny thing. This is the first time we've actually hear them with their own language. Before we've never heard them talk, although they have talked. It's just that we never had something to say. What are they saying? It's almost kind of that moment in Godzilla versus Gigan where we see Anguirus and Godzilla have the balloon subtitles come up saying, "Hey, Anguirus, a Godzilla." It's like, okay, y'all. I mean, that to me is just for fun, for silly. But here we're really seeing what they're saying, what are they talking about, what they're motivating to be doing. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So after you get this tale with these different quotes about the Yucha race, it then shoots towards the planet itself, whether it's the home world or just another native planet that homes this race or this clan called the Yucha. I do not know. And then there's like this mountainous area, and suddenly you see this lone predator like in the mountainous area, and you can tell he's hunting something or preparing to hunt something, and that is our main star, who is called Dek. And Dek basically is a small runt predator. Basically, that's what he's considered. He's like the runt of the race, and if you're like kind of on the smaller side of this race, you're frowned upon. They think you're weak. They don't think you're strong enough or worthy or have the abilities to, deliver what the stronger of their people can deliver. And basically, there's like as he's hunting, he suddenly realizes there's another predator there, and as he's walking around, he basically bumps into this other predator, and they slowly begin to duel, and it's like a game of cat and mouse. Who's going to be the stronger, outsmart the other one? And the stronger and the larger of the two predators does defeat Dek, and it turns out this larger predator is his brother, who was called. Who I think he looks badass.
Yes, he does.
He's definitely menacing.
Yeah, so that is his brother called Kwai. So Kwai, that's his brother Kwai. And so that's Dek's larger, stronger brother. And after, competing in like this game, like I guess it's like a ritual or it's training, Kwai's trying to give Dek some advice. And you say, to prove yourself, you must pick a prey, and you need to defeat it and bring its skull, its carcass back to the planet to prove yourself to our father, who the father is called Najar. And basically, the father does not mess around. the father has no interest in, you know, anything to do with Deck. He wants nothing to do with them. He basically frowns upon him and thinks he's an embarrassment to the clan, embarrassment to him and the family. So basically, right off the bat, you're building a law, you're building foundations, you're building culture, you're building, you know, traditions. All of this in the first 10 minutes of this film, which we have never had in a Predator film.
True.
Which, I'll be truly honest, I kind of dug. I quite enjoyed these elements because, as much as we like just seeing a man being hunted around a city or a jungle and the Predator in camouflaged, not talking and just playing with these gadgets and shooting anything and killing anything, it is nice to have more interaction with the Predator. So I did quite enjoy this.
It's a different perspective on it, you know, because that's the thing, you know, as you mentioned before, it's kind of like the Klingon lore, because you know how they're so, you know, inept about their tradition, their race, you know, their culture. But it's kind of it's a kind of a throwback to human traditions of different races and whatnot, how they're traditional with certain things. Like if the younger sibling is trying to prove to the oldest sibling, the head monarch, you know, and the older one of the sibling, they're trying to say, you got to do it this way. Otherwise, you'll never be able to, you know, be part of this, you know. And the sad part, I mean, and I'm like you, I'm like, I love this. I enjoy that, you know, that little storyline. It's almost a saddened thought process knowing that this is how certain cultures really deal with this in real life. You know, they will say that if you are the weakest of the bunch, supposedly weakest of the bunch, we may just discard you all the way. You know, I mean, we're just like, well, I've just disowned you, period. But where we see here in this particular culture, the hierarchy pretty much says like, well, if this person can't live up to the expectations of the rest of the clan of our species, well, the thing I have to do is this. I'm not just going to disown you. I'm going to pretty much make sure you never. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Jake. You're not going to exist at all. You're going to be. Yes. It's like, wow. Okay.
Yes. So, as you've mentioned, he picks, you know, Deck is now trying to prove himself to his father, to the clan, to you know, it's all honor, respect, proving your worth in the hierarchy of the Predator race, the Yucha. And basically what ends up happening is he decides to pick the most dangerous animal that even his father is frightened to go against because it's pretty much indestructible. It's called the Kalisk, and it's on a planet called Jenna, which is the most dangerous planet in the known universe at that time, where anything and everything on it is virtually gonna try and kill you.
And just out of curiosity, I'm sorry, I just want to throw this out there. In your, I'm giving you both opinion. In your opinion, do you think that this particular planet that he's going to, was it more savage than the one that's seen in Avatar? Although we can care about that, do you think it's more savage than that planetary?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Don't bring up garbage on my.
That's what I was going to say. I'm just making comparison, but I wanted to get your two's opinion about it, because it's like even I have to say, I mean, it's dangerous on Pandora, but this has nothing on this. To me, Pandora is a pussyfoot kind of thing compared to this. So yeah.
Bad Walter. Bad Walter.
I have no words, Walter.
Okay.
Do not bring up garbage on my stream.
But yes, this planet was more savage, and you know, Deck, like Kevin was explaining, he's trying to prove himself, and his father's like, "No, I want you."
Well, there's quite a reveal actually that happens early. So basically, we're seeing the montage of this kind of training with with Q and Dick, and the father arrives at the mountainous area, basically speaks to Q and basically says, you haven't done it yet, what were you thinking? And basically he was ordered there to kill him. He was ordered there to kill Dick, and he hasn't killed Jack because he wants to give him a chance to prove himself, but his father doesn't. This leads to Dick's brother, Huey, going into battle against his own father, Joe, and the Joe mind also looks badass.
Oh yeah, yes, he does. With the long, with the gray, it's almost like a reflection of Angela Bassett's hair in the Black Panther for some reason. I don't know why.
And I also loved his mask too. I mean, his mask was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's basically like the elder Predator that you see in the second Predator film that hands Danny Glover the gun.
Take it.
Yeah, take it. Exactly.
So they end up battling, and then unfortunately, Dick, he gets pushed back into the back of the ship. I'm sure it's like Kui's ship, and it's locked down for him that he can't come out to help his brother fight his father. And then this is where the PG-13 stuff comes in, because even though it's PG-13, the fight in the gore and in the battle scenes is really well done. Yes. And the fight between the father and of course the brother is brutal, and then unfortunately the brother gets killed, and because Dex kind of been banged on the head a bit when he was forced back into the spaceship just sets off on auto to go to Jenna, and the next thing you know, he wakes up on the flight as it's crashing into the planet, and he manages to literally just get out of the ship. And soon as he's on the planet, soon as he arrives, there's no peace for the wicked, because he literally has to fight for his life against anything and everything that comes near him. There's giant tentacle plants, there's bugs, there's these pterodactyl fucking alien bloody bird things. And
explosive plants.
Yes, farting plants that spit these darts at you that if they hit you, they paralyze you. And the birds, the alien birds, basically, they use this as a way. If they work alongside the nature of the planet. So anything that walks into this field with these birds, these plants that spit these darts when they explode, if they hit with the dart and they come paralyzed on the floor, that's when these bird-like aliens fly down and basically pick the bones and gut the thing that's paralyzed on the floor, and they work together. So straight away you see how dangerous and perilous this place is. It's vicious.
Yes.
And you go from that point to then suddenly hearing a voice in the distance when he's entering this field with these, exploding dart firing plants. And it turns out to be something that we didn't expect.
Yes. A synthetic.
It turns out to be a synthetic from Weyland-Yutani Corporation called Thea.
Now, I have to say, this is the thing that I was not expecting, to hear a particular familiar name in this particular film. I wasn't expecting that, believe it or not. I mean, even though I knew it was a synthetic, I was like, that's what's in here? It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Especially because we know who Weyland-Yutani are connected to, which is the Alien franchise. So immediately I was expecting a xenomorph or something to pop up, but no spoilers, but this isn't a spoiler for anyone. Just to let you know, there is no post-credit scene in this. There was no connections other than the corporation's name throughout the course of the movie. So don't expect a xenomorph popping up anytime in this particular film. But anyway, Thea is basically a synthetic that is basically sitting on this tree on the top of the hilltop, and basically explains when she uses a translator to communicate with the Utah, that basically she and her party, her I guess group of explorers from Wayland, Utah, are also hunting the Kalisk, but the Kalisk got the better hand of them, and she was, savagely, dragged around and threw around by the Kalisk and landed in that tree. And she wants to work with the Utah, which is, of course, Deck, to survive the planet like he does, but to also work in a partnership. But because he is stubborn, because he is a predator, because he is a Utah, and he's all about loyalty, respect, and trying to prove his worth, he basically shuts her down at every time until he's nearly killed, and finally basically agrees when she basically suckers him in and says, well, just use it as a tool. I'm a robot, I'm a thing, I'm a machine. Use me as a tool. And basically because of that, she ends up saving his life. And then we get the surprise in the movie. The first or the second surprise after the initial beginning, we discover she's completely legless.
No legs. Where's the booty? I don't see it.
Now, I did not know how this was going to go, the relationship between them two, because I loved everything basically right at the beginning where there was no humans involved or any familiar faces. It was simply just about them, the race, the culture, seeing the battle. And I was thinking, is she going to annoy the complete hell out of me?
Partially. I mean, like I say, there is moments of comic relief in this picture, and it's not done shoving it down your throat. It's actually done naturally because she's communicating with this Utah or Dex. I'll just say Dex, and the fact that she's communicating, she's making weird jokes or whatever, but at the same time, it's building a trust between these two. And in time, the jokes come, and they're coming out naturally, because at first I feel like, okay, you need to just shut up, keep your mouth shut, it's almost that C3O moment in Empire Strikes Back. It's like, would you shut the hell up, please, but at the same time, you realize, like, no, we're building this, companionship, and it's working out, it's going the way it's supposed to, slowly. And I think that's how most, relationship between people, build up. It has to take its time, has to simmer, and it has to go. And this is not a long picture. This is a less 2-hour picture.
Yeah, and it didn't feel forced.
Yeah.
And the one thing I see, the fake doesn't have any wokeism in it. It feels like organically, it works organically. It comes together beautifully. For me personally, she did grow on me. The relationship, the bond between Deck and Thea really worked.
Right.
We do have a question.
Yeah,
Hello, Colin Mitchell Games. What is your favorite Predator character? Are you talking about like design of Predator, or from a game, or from a film? Can you be more specific?
I was going to say, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Me personally, Dutch. I've always loved Dutch from the first Predator movie. I've only read one of the comic books, and I cannot remember which one I watched, but the human character, that was quite interesting. My favourite Predator design, of course, is the classic Predator from Predator, the Jungle Predator, as he's known. He's asking which is your favourite design.
Okay.
Ooh.
So I would, well, like I say, mine's the classic, the jungle predator from the first Predator movie. I really quite like in Predator, Killer of Killers. I really like the samurai predator one that appeared in, the second chapter of Killer of Killers. It was called The Sword, and you had, that was like set during the Shogun era with the two samurais.
Yeah.
That predator, I love that design as well.
Okay. Well, me personally, I'm like I say, I'm old school. I love the original OG one from '87. I can say that, yeah, and this is probably going to give me a lot of flack. I actually like that Super Predator version of in the Predator, the 2018 one. I did like that one, but that's just my opinion. I'm not going to say it's the best, but I kind of like that. But the OG one is always my favorite.
Well, the film can suck, but the design of the predator can still be cool.
Yeah.
For me, the original, and I would probably say, kind of like what Kevin said, the one from the samurai in the animated.
Mm-hmm. The predator looked like the face and the look of the predator that was in, the main predator in the first Alien versus Predator film.
Yeah.
I like the look of him. I thought he was pretty cool. But outside of Deck, I do think Deck is okay and his look is great. But I think this design was pretty much wasted.
Yeah, I mean, didn't get that much screen time.
Yeah. Kiwi, who is Deck's brother, I loved him. I thought he looks fucking badass.
But I think that's the whole point. It's like he's in there for a short. I mean, this design had to be very memorable to realize, like, oh, we're about to lose him. We don't know we're going to lose him, but when we do, it's like, damn, he's gone. He was a good design. We hate that, but there you go.
Mm-hmm. But thank you for the question, though, Colin. Thank you. As the plot progresses, we do discover Thea, her and Deck decide to work together, even though Deck's reluctant. He does choose to work with her, because he sees that as a piece of equipment. It's just like laser on his arm or whatever. Yeah. And something else we need to talk about is, as you know, throughout the majority of the Predator movies, is the Predator always has the cloak device. And this is one element I loved about this. You only get the cloak device if you prove yourself worthy. And so basically, he wants to kill the Callus, not only to prove himself to his father, to his clan, to his race of the Utah, he also wants to achieve the ultimate, reward, which is receiving his very own cloak and device. But at this point, he's got mixed feelings on everything, because he now knows basically he's unwanted by his father, he's unwanted from his clan, potentially his race, but he still has in his mind this passion and this mission he wants to fulfill, which is to kill the Callus, to prove, I think it's not just to prove to the race and to his father or to the tribe, his clan, it's also, I think, to prove to himself that he isn't the runt, he isn't small, he isn't weak, he isn't inferior. He wants to prove to himself, I think, more than anything else, that he is a predator.
Because isn't that what you should do anyway? Is to prove that, it's like, yeah, you can prove to anybody, but the end is the result is, who are you trying to really do this for? All these other people, they don't give a shit. You got to be the one to prove that you can do this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And so I like these elements, how they're given this predator, who, when I first come into it, first seen the trailer, like everybody remembers when they first put the teaser out and you seen the look at this predator, there was a bit of backlash on the look and the design, because everyone just has a certain idea of what the Predator is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this design and this look put a lot of people off, but this design and Deck himself works perfectly for the story they're trying to tell in the confines of this film.
Well, you got to remember, you have I mentioned this before about a lot of things, a lot of brands. It's like, if you're a purist, you're going to feel like, this is not exactly what I feel it should be like. I mean, let's be honest. When the first Transformer film came out, everyone was like dying to say, y'all didn't make Optimus Prime look like Optimus Prime. I'm like, bruh, it's a movie. You just let it go. I mean, it's like, if it doesn't show like it's supposed to be in the cartoons, just go with it. I mean, it may be your childhood, but you're going to live if they do something different. And here, you're doing something different with this design. And I guess as it grows on you, you start to learn to appreciate it more, for story-wise.
And don't forget, the whole story is about a younger Predator trying to prove himself. He's like a teenager in many ways. So I thought it worked perfectly. Like you say, you've got Dick, and then you've seen the design of Cooey, his brother, and then you've got the design of his father, the Joe, who looks, old and fierce as well. So you can see that they've got the designs that we're used to and like from previous films in this among his brother and his father.
Right.
So basically, as the plot progresses, Thea's trying to get to know Dick and understand him, and he does reveal like his secret, like not his secret, but his history of why he's at the planet. He's there to hunt the Kalisk. He's there to prove himself to his race, his clan. She asks, about his family, talks about his brother, and he kind of reveals the brother but sacrificed himself, was killed by his father. She also reveals that they were on a mission to explore and understand the planet, and she knows this planet better than anybody else. Hence why he decides to use her as a tool, because then it gives him an advantage with all her knowledge. She also reveals that she had a sister. And she is the villain of our story.
Now, can I just give this little note that I don't know if you two noticed this. I noticed this right off the bat when I saw this character being played by the same actress, Elle Fanning. It kind of reminded me of how Michael J. Jordan did a double duty in Sinners, and he did a job very well, where I feel she did the same thing here, playing two different. I mean, she's playing synthetics, both of them, but she's doing two different personas. And I said to myself, it's like, that's pretty damn good, because that shows that this individual has range. The actress has real range. I mean, not a lot of people can do multiple roles in a single setting when they doing films like this. I mean, it's just like, I mean, can you do it? It's like, yeah, you can, but it's like, you really got to impress the audience that these are two different people. And I think you can tell that both of them are truly different from one another.
Oh yeah, because you got one that is trying to be respectful and trying to learn from Deck, as the other one is more serious, trying to do the mission and all of that. I call her the albino one eye. So
right.
So when it comes to Thea, she's warm, she's curious. She's she cares about the planet. That she's very much a person who wants to explore and discover and be respectful of nature, and she's warm, and welcoming. Where you have Tessa, who is cold, who has a one-track mind. She's virtually the total opposite to Thea. She's cold, she's calculating, she's she's basically what you expect from a villain.
Oh yeah, she's following orders to the T.
She's basically like the synthetics that we've seen in the Alien films, in previous incarnations, where she has a mission. She wants to follow the mission, and the mission is to capture the Kalisk and to take it back to the home world or back to the science station, and basically use the abilities of the Kalisk to try and, I guess, for medicines and weaponry, because when we are next introduced to the Kalisk, we then discover, he goes in full blasting, Thea, she's tried to table, she's trying to, like, put her legs back together, because they go to, like, I guess, the initial area where the Weyland-Yutani corporation was, the initial, I guess, base, and she basically reveals to, of course, Deck basically that she's kind of manipulated him in many ways, because just as he's using her as a tool, she has used him to get back to where she needs to be, to find our body part and to get back to her sister. Not knowing her sister, is going to end up being this cold, person or android. And she basically tricks him to take her back there to, like, fix herself and, look for the Kalisk. And not only are we introduced to the main Kalisk, who has, when Deck initially fights it, he slashes it, he does everything.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do. It just even cuts its head off and it instantly regenerates.
Which I was like, that's badass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, he's fucked.
Yeah, right.
Which you can now understand why Dijon, his father, was hesitant to take on the Kalisk, and why his brother Kui warned him about the Kalisk.
Yeah.
But also we're introduced to this creature.
Yes. Which I thought was a throwaway character, to be honest with you.
Which they call Bud.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bud,
female, aren't you?
Bud basically helped them earlier on, like defeat the plants and all this stuff, and these bison-looking alien creatures, and it followed them. And Thea's very much friendly, wants to keep it as a pet, and become like add her to the team. But Dex, one track mind, no, I've got to find the Kalisk, leave him or her where she is. And basically, after the initial defeat from the Kalisk, Weyland-Yutani's people turn up and basically capture Deck, capture the Kalisk. All hell breaks loose, and then this leads to, like, not a confrontation, but a conversation between Thea and Tessa. Which basically Thea and Tessa, she's trying to explain to her sister Tessa that Deck the Yutani, he can be useful to us. We could use him to understand the race more. But Tessa and her mission, she's got one track mind, which is, well, you need the Kalisk. We have the Kalisk. We will kill the Kalisk, we will kill the Utah, and deliver them back to Mother, which is like the main, I guess, computer program that they're following under Weyland-Yutani. But as you can tell by the difference, now that, of course, Thea has gotten to know Deck, the Utah, the AK, the Predator.
Yeah.
Basically, she's now, in many ways, you could actually think her program's malfunctioning because she's now having like self-doubt. She's now changing. She's not just, she's like self-thinking. She's not following the program or the orders, where Tessa's still like in full program mode.
Yeah.
And I do see a similarity between Michael Fassbender's character in the Alien series, with Prometheus, how you had like the good synthetic android, and then you had David, who turned out to be the bad one, and how one was like went rogue, the other one stuck to whatever they were being taught. I find a similar path between these two characters, Tessa and Thea.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
so basically, like you see, the film isn't that long. Once we get past the initial, this mass reveal, this is where we're heading more into more of the action. Like, the film mind does not shy away from action. It's full of action. It's full of monster gore, monster fights between plants, alien like creatures, the classic self, the predator. Like you see why it's PG-13, but when he, when the Utah, aka Jack, when Thea helps him escape from Tessa, he finds his crashed ship, and you start seeing this montage of him. Going to all the areas we're seen in the initial part of the film, where he was getting attacked by plants, attacked by creatures, these snake things that were near the river, and he actually manipulates them and uses them to become weapons for himself.
Right.
He uses the resources of the planet, the spitting darts, the snake, and I loved how he had the snake on his shoulder, and it was like his plasma cannon.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
See, this is a brilliant moment where it's almost the moment of showing a so-called less technical. I mean, even though the Predators are actually they are very technical. When he doesn't have so many weapons technologically, advanced, he's relying on, you say, the resources of the planet, which turns out to be way more hostile than their primitive. I mean, when you say primitive, their so-called advanced weaponry, and it turns out it's like, yeah, I'm about to smoke you guys in a minute,
So I love that how the planet was the most dangerous planet in the galaxy, and he was nearly killed many, many times. There's lots of action sequences. There's a lot of great special effects, big, massive world, massive, beautiful scenery, deadly animals. The special effects in this is great. The scenes, the location is fit perfectly for the predator where you expect it to be, and the fact that everything that tried to kill him, he then turns to his own advantage to then turn on the Weyland-Yutani androids, the synthetics. And you see him blowing them up. You see him, the vapor thing starts spitting at them, and he starts cutting them up with his laser sword, and you see the white blood splash everywhere. The last half hour of this film was fantastic.
Yes, I had to put this out. It's like this. I mean, we mentioned earlier. Jacob mentioned about this had a PG-13 rating, which I swear turned me off at the same time. But when you see synthetic gore in here, where it's like their heads are getting smashed or busted up or anything like that, I was like, wow, this is the best PG-13 violence I've ever seen, but it's not, red, it's all white, it's like, this is cool, I'm loving this, so it's like, this is, the third act really is a total, joygasm of good stuff in here, I'm just like, I'm loving this, because that's the thing. You want a film to kind of start you off kind of get you ready, and then it's like, okay, it's a slow start, slow burn, and then it's like, oh shit, this is what we're going with, and it's like, yeah, I'm loving this.
Well, for me, it wasn't a slow burn. For me, it had a steady pace from start to finish, and you got drawn in more as the film progressed.
Yeah, I got the same feeling. I love how you're learning in each development, and then with the big finale, him using all his resources after he's been through all of it and calculating where to, stage all of this. I was just like, Chef's kiss.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. So it's like, as you say, he uses the planet. Thea then discovers, or so I say, Deck then kind of realizes that the Kalisk isn't just the Kalisk. The Kalisk is actually the mother of Bud, in that they're the same species. In that the reason probably the Kalisk is so vicious is because she's probably trying to protect that baby.
But did you notice that moment when the Callus was about to pretty much delete Dax at that point? Notice how she sniffs him. And I'm telling you right now, it was almost a throwaway, but when I saw that part, it's like, wait a minute, because it didn't occur to me yet. But it's like, could that be? But I wasn't for sure. And then it brought up, it's like, oh, that's the reason why. It's like crazy,
Yeah, because of that one particular scene when they're all together by the fire.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. So basically, the last quarter of this film is just an all-out battle between Tessa and the Weyland-Yutani synthetics against Thea, the Kalisk, in Deck. And there's just people getting killed left, right, and centre. Tessa goes into a giant loader machine similar to Ripley's, which is definitely a throwback to Alien. Except this time she was the bitch.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
That was great.
That was good.
She gets into the loader and she takes on Deck in the Kalisk. And she also in the synthetics also discovered Deck's ship, and she took his laser plasma cannon, and she's using it to try and kill Deck in the Kalisk. But then the Kalisk gets upper hand on her. It basically swallows her, and you think all is said and done when we get another surprise where she's taken like one of those grenades that basically it's like it freezes,
like liquid nitrogen.
Like liquid nitrogen, it freezes should detonate it inside the Kalisk, and the Kalisk literally is frozen in a second and explodes. So obviously that the Kalisk can be killed, but I think only from inside. Bud's mother is killed, and it is sad that the mother gets killed, but you have this amazing moment with her and Thea. And, how Tessa gets killed, I was like, get in.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful kill in the movie, and she so rightly deserved to die.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I never wanted to see someone die. I mean, an antagonist die so vigorously. So usually I'm trying to be like, like, okay, turn the other cheek and say, fuck that. I want to see this bitch go,
She was the weakest link.
Yes, right.
And so Bud's basically, fulfilled his he hadn't fulfilled his quest, because he actually went there to prove himself to his people, to, kill the Kalisk, bring it back, to prove himself that he isn't the runt, he isn't the weakest link, to his people, to his clan, to his father. But actually what he did, he discovered doesn't have to prove himself to anybody. He went on a fully fledged journey of self-discovery from within. And so when he does return back to his home world, he's well prepared. And so he goes back to confront his father and the clan, and says, I have, returned with me trophy, which is actually the head of Tessa.
Yes.
Which he throws on the floor. And he then basically uses all of the training that he's kind of self-taught himself on the planet to get the upper hand, to finally get revenge, not only for the death of his brother, Kui, but to also prove to himself that he is worthy by taking out actually his biggest, his biggest doubt, which is the disapproval of his father.
And even with the father being able to cloak himself, because he doesn't have his cloak yet, even though he is able to cloak himself invisible, Dex has got the upper hand on this. It's like, you're going to cloak yourself. Guess what? I got a trick under my sleeve right here. I'm about to show you. And sure enough, pulls it off. And it's like, I'm like, that's such a brilliant move on his part. It's like, you take what you've learned and disown all that. And it's like, yes, this will definitely make you be able to see. And he doesn't hesitate. When he gets him kind of visible in a way, it's like, I'm like, man, I mean, Dex, this is your moment to shine. You're shining right now. Please take this bastard out,
Yeah. And he ends up doing what he was going to do and took what was rightfully his.
Yes.
Yeah, he cut off his father's arm and took his cloaking device.
Yes.
And then you see Bud and you see Thea, who have joined him, but Bud has grown much bigger, which reminds me of Baby Groot. So you had Baby Groot, then you had like Groot when he was a teenager, and then obviously he's going to grow to Groot again. So it makes me, so it's interesting that the film ends on an interesting cliffhanger where Thea, Bud, and Dick are ready to depart the planet, where in the distance you see another craft, and he goes, "That's my mother."
Now that's something you really want to be feared of. It's like, oh no, that's my mom! Run!
But it makes me think.
Oh shit!
It makes me think, though, if we've never seen a female predator.
No, we have not.
We have not. And the funny thing is, I've seen many designs, artwork of female Yetas, but I mean, never in film form, though, ever.
Now, if you've seen the size of the spaceship that head towards them, that's a pretty big ship. So it makes me think, what is the order of the hierarchy with the female predators, with the female Yuta? Are they more superior to the men? Because nothing's been revealed.
That's a good question, because truth be told, I don't think I even know the mythology of the predator race. I don't really know. I mean, because it's touch and go with that. That's a good question.
Unless you read one of the books or something that explains it all, but I've never read any of the Predator books.
And I think they're more or less going to be like the, Wonder Woman, like the Amazon race. I think they're going to be badass warriors, just like the men.
And you know what? I hope they do, because, like I say, some of the art designs I've seen of the female Yatas, like I say, they're about this as tall as the regular male ones, But of course, you can tell they're female because of anatomically correct things, So, but yeah, it's like, yeah. So, but I don't know what their strength is and their skill set is. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like you say, they're probably just like the Amazonian women in Wonder Woman. I hope they are. I hope they are badass.
Well, one thing I will say that I loved about the film, now that we've talked about the plot, we'll give overall thoughts at the end. The great thing I loved about this, the story, the cast was fantastic. But another thing, the production value in this was outstanding. In, like, for example, this is the actor who plays Deck.
Yes, a New Zealand. Yes.
Yeah, and as you can see, for a lot of people might not know this, but there is a lot of practical effects in this.
Yeah, that's what in-camera stuff.
Oh wow!
So there you go. That's him actually in the full Deck suit. And if you look at his head, where his head is, he's got like a thing wrapped around his neck, but it looks like there's like these little screws that you like stick the mask into when he's got the mask on. Now, believe it or not, that's a practical effect. That's a practical mask.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, that was a ton. That's one I think the director is good at. He takes the old school ways and integrate it into the CG fest that we see nowadays. Yeah, see, and it's done well. I mean, like I say, Evan Peter Hall did the same thing. He was pretty much a practical student, and this guy was doing the same thing.
So the effect work, the production value in this film is well put together.
I think so. Because this movie, the budget of this film was like 80 mil or more. And I feel that, truth I'm going to be honest with you, I feel the effects in here were very well done. I think because they were focusing on what was necessary and didn't do a whole lot of fast talking kind of effects. They actually put the time into making the effects look genuine. This is what I was thinking about, because believe it or not, the same effects company that did the other films I'm not going to mention, they did the effects for this film.
It's Weta Workshop who did the effects. And obviously they did Lord of the Rings, who are well known for doing miniatures, for doing suitmation, for doing CGI special effects. We can really tell that they have done an excellent job in bringing this film story, world, and the culture of the Utah to life.
Yes. I'd be surprised if it doesn't get a Oscar nomination mentioned, because I think the effects are just that well done, in my opinion. But then again,
like even that's a practical effect.
Yes.
And of course, Kiwi, his brother, practical effect.
Wow.
Because to me, if you can do something in camera right there without having to do a lot of digital sweetening, do it in camera. That's how they did it back in the day. Why not?
That's all practical.
Yeah. Even that when you see that explosion that happens, but when he lights it up, that's all practical too.
Mm-hmm. Like I'll show this image again. That's in there with the contact lens in his eye.
Yeah.
So overall, what's your overall thought of the plot and the film itself? We'll start with Jedi.
Well, we mentioned before, it's never going to be the OG of. It's not going to beat the OG of Predator films. We know that that's not going to happen. But it is a different take on the Predator lore, which I feel like that's what you need to do. This is something I wish they could have done with the previous Star Wars entries. And well, we already know that out of all the ones that came, minus the Rogue One, all of them were just like, y'all just losing everything, y'all just trying to do a multi, digital fest for us, for our eyes to be explored with. But in the end, it's like, are you telling a good story? To me, I think that's what you got to focus on, the story. and if the characters work in this story, and it builds up to where you think it's going to go to, or maybe more, it works. So for me, are we giving ratings as far as that goes? As far as
Yeah, you can give ratings.
personally, I'm gonna give this one an 8. Out of 10, because I think it's just that good in my opinion. Because I know, I mean, it's like anything, it's not perfect, but it's perfectly done, perfectly made because of the talent behind it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna add this to my collection of films that I want to rewatch because it's that well done. It's that good. I mean, it's to me, it's like one of these rarities of this year that I can say that, because this year has been a bollocks of dog shit. Okay, I mean, let's be honest. The stuff that we've been seeing this year to come out, I haven't even bothered to watch. I mean, but there have been some hits and misses. There have been some, critically acclaimed, pretty much well done films in different categories, different genres. This one here, I don't know if anyone's going to give a really batter up kind of thing about it, saying, but in my opinion, is a perfect popcorn thrill ride. And I would say anyone go watch it, watch it for yourself. And I think you'll enjoy it. I think you will, because I did.
Gia Cole.
Like I said, this movie surprised me from start to finish. I was hooked in. I loved the storyline, the characters, loved every moment of the bonding between every single character. Glad the wicked bitch got killed in the film. All in all, with all the practical effects, and without you showing me those pictures, I just thought the whole thing was CGI. I'm not gonna lie, but that's how good that film was to me when I did not realize that they used practical effects.
Like, I'm gonna show you this.
Yeah.
That is 2 actors in practical suits against a green screen.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, love the story, love the practical effects, love the story build up, love the atmosphere that they were in. Enjoyed Deck's character, enjoy Thea. Like Walter, I would give it an 8 out of 10. And yes, I will add this definitely to my collection because I did really enjoy it. It was a pleasant surprise for me.
Right, my turn.
Okay.
So, as for me, I've got a lot to say. So, first and foremost, for me, we're now in the year 2025. 1987, when the first Predator film came out, it was a massive surprise. It was a film that really took, for me, action, I guess, sci-fi with, with gore and with suspense into a different direction. And it's very hard to recapture what we had from the past. And we need to realize nothing's going to be the same. But you can still carry on making worlds with similar characters in the same franchise and make it original and make it different and expand on it. And even though the Predators had a mixture of good and bad films, what they were able to do, or should I say what Dan Trachtenberg has been able to do with these last 3 movies, is basically expand on the world of the Predator with 3 different stories that all were compelling, but all world building, all shows you a different facet and different, mythology, and built on the Predator itself as a species, is a race, and give it more depth rather than just an alien coming to a planet, or be it you being abducted, taken to an alien planet and having to fight for your life. against an alien creature. Now, that's still a good plot, and they kind of still did that with Prey. And you can do that plot as many times as you want, but eventually you're going to have to try and do something that brings some originality to the Predator franchise. And I feel he did that with Prey. He did it with his animated movie Killer of Killers, and he's even done it now with Badlands. And for me, we've talked about the film I don't like, Avatar. What James Cameron did with that, he created he focused more on the world building in terms of the special effects, the scenery, seeing water creatures. But what Dan Thattenberg has been able to do, I get like vibes of world building, but it's more compelling, it's more interesting, and I want to see more with it. I'm more interested in continuing going on a journey in the world of the Utah. And quite frankly, I would follow this team of Thea, Bud, and Deck. And I get vibes of this when I first seen The Mandalorian.
Right.
I feel as if this is like with The Mandalorian brought some freshness to Star Wars. And so did Rogue One. So I personally feel with this that Predator Badlands has like this vibe of old school Predator elements mixed in with this, with the world building and kind of like lore building, and giving it kind of that Mandalorian effect where you don't just, before Predator was aimed at adults, but with Badlands it's aimed at young adults and kids. It's got amazing action, amazing fight sequences. Is gore, but it's all alien like blood, or it's all synthetic blood. So you can take a kid to this and they'd probably enjoy it. So for me, he's been able to create 3 movies with 3 different appeals to 3 different types of audience: the old school audience, the new audience, and a new audience that might have never discovered the Predator that will now want to continue to follow the law and learn more. So because of Dan Trachtenberg and because of his success of doing not this, but 3 films in a row, that's expanded on Predator, brought fresh blood to Predator, and also put new eyes on Predator, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. So, loved it. At first, I was like, am I going to like this? But in the end, it grew on us. In the fact that it's an hour, it's like just under 2 hours. It's got great pacing. The story organically flows well. And it was just a fun movie. And it's definitely probably going to make me top 10.
Same way with me, because like as I said before, the amount of films that have come out this year have not been that robust, and this would definitely be on my top 10 for sure.
Definitely going to be on my top 10 of 2025. But Predator Badlands, I think everyone had mixed reviews, and luckily it's doing really well. So where we're going to go next, Dan Trachtenberg originally had 3 different story ideas and didn't know how to approach it, but then guess what? He's done all 3. He was allowed, after the success of Prey, to do his other 2 film ideas. And as you know, there's rumours that Arnold Schwarzenegger could be in the next installment, another continuation of his story, and that will be interesting to see how that's going to interact with the world of Prey, or the world of Killers, or the world of Predator Badlands. But we're not done with the Predator just yet. Because if you've enjoyed this review, please return to the Entertainment Headquarters next Saturday, because we're going to be talking, guess what? The Predator franchise. We're going to be talking about every film in the franchise from Predator 1987 all the way up to, guess what? Predator Badlands 2025. So this is going to have good and bad, I would imagine, comments about the films throughout the franchise, but it's going to be interesting to see everyone's take on it. But that's what's coming next weekend on the entertainment headquarters. Mr. Jedi Granville, what is coming to Jedi Granville Productions?
Well, after this, come tomorrow, I'll be doing 2 streams. One on my channel, one particularly where I'm going to do a retake of To Live and Die in LA because of
technical issues.
Yes, technical issues beyond my control. But yes, me and Mr. DJ Anubis will be taking a stab at it again.
Well, next time you go to do a stream, make sure you pay the electric bill, Walter. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, I know, right? I mean, it's like, really? It's like you're just gonna button, you know what I mean. Anyway, later that evening, I will be joined with Anubis and Owen, where we're going to be talking about, believe it or not, my favorite of the Bond films, You Only Live Twice. We'll be discussing that later that evening. And I'm trying to see, was there anything as far as yours, which I'll be doing that Saturday? Oh, yes, I'll be doing that with you with the Predator franchise. But I will also be doing something later that evening with a friend of mine, Mr. Artistic Lizard, where we're going to be discussing the 20th anniversary of Peter Jackson's King Kong. So
nice.
But,
I'm doing that in December on Anthony Jordan's movie and gaming.
Cool. But as far as that goes, I'm trying to see, was there anything else as far as that goes? I do know that next week after that, I will be hooking up with Mr. Jake Hall, where we're going to be discussing a very controversial kaiju film that I feel like anyone who's a Ultraman purist will say that this is pure trash only because of certain circumstances. We'll be discussing Holloman and the versus the 7 Ultraman, which makes no sense because I don't know why it's versus, because they're fighting together. But we'll be discussing that in detail and why the controversy is such a big issue. So.
Well, a lot of great stuff coming to your channel. And Jake Hall, of course, if you want, you're more than welcome to join us on the Predator franchise discussion next Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully I won't be too tired. But
right.
I'll let y'all know.
Absolutely. But of course, I've had fun talking about Predator Badlands. It's probably been one of the nice surprises of 2025 in terms of films. Because like you say, the last few years in cinema have kind of been, a mixed bag of success. I would still say the biggest success of this year is Sinners for me. But I tell you one thing that I didn't think I would have on my bingo card of being, films that would surprise us and be successful as, of course, the 2 Predator films that we've had this year, which is Predator Killers and of now, of course, Predator Badlands. So, like I say, Dan Frattenberg putting the Predator franchise fully back on the map. He's put new blood into it. He's put interest into it. I'm really enjoying where he's going with it, and I'm really enjoying the world building that he's putting together. And I can't wait to see where he takes her next. But as I always say, keep on enjoying your movies. Keep on enjoying all things entertainment. And from me, Mr. Jedi Granville and Mr. Jake Hall, will catch us all at the next one.
Yes.